Good morning. I am Chris Sasser with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management. I'm the designated hearing officer for this hearing. I would like to welcome each of you to the hearing today. The subject of this hearing is the proposed revisions to ADEM Administrative Code Division 335-1. Notice of the date, time, place, and purpose of this hearing was published in the Birmingham News, the Huntsville Times, the Mobile Press Register, and the Montgomery Advertiser on July 26, 2020. Copies of the certifications of these publications are submitted for the hearing record as Exhibits C1 through C4. On July 27, 2020, the Department also caused the same notice to be sent to 2,464 individuals and organizations requesting advance notice of rulemaking. A listing of the individuals and organizations notified will be entered into the hearing record as Exhibit C5. One original copy of the proposed rules was filed with the Administrative Procedure Division of the Legislative Services Agency, and 10 copies were furnished to the Joint Committee on Administrative Regulation Review on July 21, 2020. A copy of the notice was also published in the Alabama Administrative Monthly, Volume 38, Issue 10, on July 31, 2020. These facts are attested to by Othni Latham, Director of the Legislative Services Agency, by affidavit which is submitted for the hearing record as Exhibit C6. Copies of the proposed rules have been available for inspection by the public at ADEM field offices in Birmingham, Mobile, and Decatur, and ADEM offices in Montgomery. The proposed regulation changes have also been available on the ADEM internet site at adem.alabama.gov. A copy of the proposed rules is submitted for the hearing record as Exhibit B1. A copy of the summary of reasons supporting adoption of rules is submitted for the hearing record as Exhibit B2. The Department has given public notice of these rulemaking proceedings. To date, no written comments have been received. This hearing is being conducted to provide the public an opportunity to present data, views, questions, and arguments on the proposed rules. It is open to the public, and anyone wishing to present oral testimony or a written statement may do so. Persons who have not previously advised a hearing officer of their intent to give oral testimony should complete a registration card and present it to the representative at the registration table. All verbal and written comments received today and during the public notice period will become part of the hearing record. The information in the record will be used in evaluating the proposed rules. Lengthy statements containing considerable technical or other significant data should be submitted for the record in writing. Summaries of such statements may be presented orally. All testimony and written statements should be as factual as possible and should address the subject of this hearing. This hearing is not intended as a question and answer session, and persons giving testimony will not be subject to questioning by the public. They may, however, be questioned by the hearing officer or any other representative of the Department of Environmental Management to clarify points and to develop a better understanding of the information being presented. We will now proceed to the principal purpose of today's hearing, the receipt of public comments. I would ask that each person making a statement please step to the podium, state your name, and any interest or organization that you represent. This hearing is being recorded by a court reporter, and a transcript will be included in the public record. The order of appearances of persons giving oral testimony will be as follows. First, a representative of the Department of Environmental Management, then public officials, then members of the public in the order they filed registration cards to give oral testimony. I now call on Brian Espy, Chief of the General Services Branch of the Permits and Services Division.
Good morning. My name is Brian Espy. I'm the Chief of the General Services Branch of the Permits and Services Division of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, also known as ADEM. I'm going to read a brief summary of reasons supporting the proposed modification. Under the provisions of the Alabama Environmental Management Act 22-22A-1, Code of Alabama 1975 as amended, the Department of Environmental Management was given the authority to adopt rules, regulations, and standards in order to carry out the provisions and intent of this chapter. This chapter also provides for the authority to cover the reasonable anticipated costs to be incurred related to the issuance, reissuance, modification, or denial of any permit, license, certification, or variance. Such costs include, but are not limited to, the examination and processing of applications, plans, specifications, or any other data, any necessary public hearings and investigations. The Administrative Procedures Act, Section 41-22-4, requires each agency to adopt rules of practice setting forth the nature and requirements of all formal and informal procedures available, including a description of all forms and instructions used by the agency. In accordance with the Environmental Management Act, the Department is revising ADEM Administrative Code Rule 35-1-1-.07, Departmental Forms, Instructions, and Procedures. These revisions propose to modify forms required to implement ADEM program regulations. In addition, ADEM Administrative Code Regulation 335-1-6-.03 exemptions is proposed for modification to it in order to correct a regulatory citation. The Department is also proposing to revise ADEM Administrative Code Rule 335-1-6-.07, Fee Schedule C and Fee Schedule J, Payment of Fees. These revisions propose to restructure the hazardous waste program fees outlined in Fee Schedule C to address fee changes related to hazardous waste land disposal facilities. These revisions also propose to amend Fee Schedule J in order to correct the citation of the environmental covenants fees.
I will now call on public officials, followed by members of the public in the order in which they filed registration cards to give oral testimony. I would ask that each person making a statement please step to the podium, state your name and any interest or organization that you represent. I have not received any registration cards of anyone indicating that they wish to speak. Is there anyone who has not had a chance to complete a card who wishes to speak at this time? Let the record reflect that there is no response. The final hearing record will include a transcript of this hearing, all written submissions and exhibits, and a response by the department to each relevant comment received by the hearing officer before 5:00 p.m. Thursday, September 17th, 2020, today, at the ADEM offices in Montgomery. After consideration of all oral and written comments, ADEM will make a determination regarding possible revisions to the proposed rules and prepare a response to all relevant comments received. When a final decision has been made, ADEM will forward the final draft of the proposed rules, as may be revised, the hearing record, and if conflicting views are submitted, a concise statement of the principal reasons for and against adoption of the proposed rules and the reasons for overruling any considerations urged against their adoption to the Environmental Management Commission for its consideration and possible adoption. Once complete, this record will be available for public inspection in the office of the Department of Environmental Management in Montgomery. Thank you for your attendance and participation today. This hearing is adjourned.